All right, welcome to 801 Labs. We have DC801 Presents. We have
Ryan Fisk.
And
Chris Hanson.
Yep, and they're from the UVU Cybersecurity Club, right?
Yes.
And we're super excited to have them here. Woo! I love these guys. And, I mean, you're here to tell us about who you are, what you do, cool stuff like that, right?
Yes, exactly.
All right, so I'm going to hand off to them right now.
Awesome.
Thank you. So yeah, like Bash said, I'm Ryan. This is my buddy Chris. We're members of the Utah Valley University Cybersecurity Club. Basically what we do is we learn and study about cybersecurity and network administration, things like that. But then we take that knowledge and we go compete against actual hackers. So we are considered a blue team for, normally it's like a made-up company, where they bring in professional hackers and pen testers from around the country, and they come in and try to break our systems. And usually they succeed pretty well. So basically it's just a crash course of like what doomsday would be for us, and we learn how to try to stop doomsday from happening.
Yeah. So like you said, we're the UVU Cybersecurity Club. We do a lot of really fun activities, a lot of fun competitions, everything under the sun from CTFs. We do CCDC, which is a collegiate cyber defense competition. We do King of the Hills, pretty much anything you can get your hands on. Forensic competitions, we are trying to do it. It is a student-run organization, and we're striving to gain knowledge and just get back to the community. Yes?
Do you have to be a student at UVU to participate?
You do not have to be a student at UVU to participate.
We found that out this year.
Yes. So
Actually, we knew that from the beginning. We put that in the rules on purpose.
yeah, so we do not require you to be a student at UVU. We do like you to, if you're going to join, you have to pay a participation fee. And
It's really easy. It's $10 a year.
if you're lucky.
You may get a sticker, a participation sticker.
You failed to participate?
Right.
Yeah.
So
How much is it?
it's about $10 right now. So you have to
Like a month? Or?
$10 a year
yeah.
to be a member of the club. So
Yeah.
So it's $50
So we
a
should
month
go there
here.
instead of
So-
CCDC.
We are cheaper than DC801. So but no, we have some documentation that we sign as well. That's more of like, we don't do any of this stuff outside of our club, our organization.
or our
'cause-
environments. So
yeah.
we're not going to take the knowledge we learned from UVU and then go hack UVU and make our grades all A's
Yeah.
and graduate with the perfect .0.
Yeah.
That was the club before this one?
Yes, but we can't say that name due to legal reasons. Yes.
So yeah, we have new perspectives from all over the world. We have students from like Saudi Arabia, Canada, Mexico, India. So we've got people from everywhere bringing
We got a
their
guy from
knowledge.
Russia this year. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, so we've got everyone kind of bringing their knowledge, giving us different ideas, and that gives us different insights on how to defend, attack, things like that.
So our whole goal in this is just to strive to be security experts by the end of our time at university, which, everybody says the best way to get experience is by doing, right? You can't learn how to stop a hacker if you never face a hacker. You can't learn how to defend a network if you've never had to defend your network. So part of what we do is that recently we just started a sponsorship with Open West, who are helping us create CCDC and capture the flag environments to where we can protect this instead of just semi-annually to doing it monthly and bi-weekly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who we are. This was the CCDC team. As you can see, we got our beautiful faces and then some other guys here. This is when we went to regionals over in Colorado, in Denver, Colorado. The whole idea is that we were the cybersecurity team for a hotel. So the hotel chain was an up-and-coming hotel chain who was worried about their information getting leaked because they received anonymous reports that their systems had been breached, fired their entire IT team, and then brought us in. And we had to defend their network for 2 days.
Yep.
So we ended up getting first place. If you think we looked shocked and scared, it's because we were.
Scared.
We didn't go with the attitude that we were going to win. We went with the attitude is that we were going to do absolutely the best that we can do
And beat BYU.
and beat BYU.
That's
So we did that really well. We were very surprised, but as we learned by the club, there's a lot of huge players in here. So there's Raytheon, who works for the government. They're the biggest contract for cybersecurity for the United States of America. There's Walmart Infotech, probably one of the biggest collaborators in the world. and they were huge sponsors. Palo Alto, ISSA, the Air Force Civilian Service was even there. We were so happy.
We beat out the Air Force as well. So if you're
super
wondering.
bad.
Yeah, thank you. Beating BYU was good. More impressive, I would say, was beating the Air Force. So
So which one felt better?
BYU.
Is this the same like volunteer Air Force thing, like the cadet training?
no, this
No.
is actually the Air Force Academy over in Denver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So-
so they had a team that went to this as well.
This
No, it's not
No,
the
so the s-
civilian.
the
they
sponsors
were
are-
a sponsor though.
Civilian is the sponsors, but the competitor was the actual Air Force.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as people, they're training to defend their airplanes, and we beat them out.
Yeah. So who we are, I'm Chris Hanson, not from Dateline NBC, so no need to worry there. I've competed in that Rocky Mountain cyber collegiate defense competition. The nationals, we went to nationals in Florida. Open West CTF, Open West sparring, which like he mentioned is something that we do every month now. You don't have to be a student. You don't have to be going to any colleges. All we're doing is Open West is hosting kind of a CCDC, CTF, King of the Hill environment for us. And we're just training cybersecurity professionals and giving back to the community using open source software. I formerly worked as a technical engineer for Solzoro. They're an MSP. They cover everything under the sun, Roxbury's, Subways, Costa Vitas. So my experience is very much everything from setting up workstations to firewalls, servers, the whole gambit. And I'm currently working at CC Bank as a network engineer.
So I'm Ryan Fisk. I was team captain for the Rocky Mountain Cyber Collaborate competition, and I'm going to be the team captain for NCCDC. Is just the same thing, but in Idaho, and I am the team captain for that event. Being team captain is really not as cool as what it really sounds like. Basically, I have to take reports from everybody and tell my CEO what we're doing while still fixing my teammates' mistakes. So a lot of the times, kind of being, as I learned being team captain, is kind of like being just in a manager position. I don't do a lot of the physical work, like I'll set up workstations, I'll set up just basic firewall rules, but then hand off the rest of the work to get done by the guys who are supposed to be doing it. And then I have to go give reports to everybody, telling them what my team's doing and how we're doing it better than everybody else. And receive more funding. Basically, funding is just points. So if I don't get us more points, then we lose. Currently, I work for Vasa Fitness as an IT specialist. Actually, because of Utah Valley Cybersecurity, I got my job. So not only, it was just a lot of things worked out. So because of Utah Valley, I got to go to Black Hat and work at Black Hat as an event coordinator. And while I was working at Black Hat, I got to know the data analyst for Vasa Fitness, who used to work in my position. And he said they were looking for somebody to fill his shoes. I applied, got an interview with the manager. But this all went back because he used to be a member of the Utah Valley Cybersecurity Club, and he's an alumni for Utah Valley. So all because of this club, I got my current job. Now, I don't do as much as Chris here. I'm not a system or a network administrator, but I do set up a lot of workstations, a lot of IT racks, servers, making sure clubs are up and running. I do a little bit of system administration, just setting up, domain controllers, Active Directory, things like that. But I'm not making or designing them. I just manage them and make sure things are going down. Like Chris, competitor of Open West, and I am professional hype master. Basically what that means is that something we learned very quickly in cybersecurity, especially in our competitions, is that it's really fun when things are going well, but it really sucks when things don't. And when you get hacked and people are pwning you when things are going down, morale goes down really fast because you're trying to outsmart a guy who's already 3 moves ahead of you and is sending trains across your Linux systems. So,
Using the steam locomotive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, something we learned really early is that morale can go down really fast. And, just a lot of, we're just techie people by nature, right? So something I learned is that part of being in cybersecurity is that you have to have a good, not only good moral system, but just be a happy person in general. Or else you're never going
I
to...
would like to make.
All right, so you need a happy person in your team. Let me amend that. We kind of learned, as I was just trying to make my team better, right? I remember the first time they sent the locomotive across our Linux systems, like the Linux guys, I won't use their names, but they looked very depressed because they were just getting beaten that bad. And the entire time, I'm like, hey, look, I get it. We're losing and we're getting destroyed. But if you don't fight back, then what's the whole point of us being here? If you don't try to make his life a harder hell than ours, then there's no point in us competing anymore. And because of that, they actually are one of our Linux guys found out and wrote a custom script to kick out all users but him and his coworker, and would just keep rocketing out that command so they can actually get something and actually get some walls back up. So that was something I just really liked, was just helping promote my team and making them feel better. And honestly, like, it paid out in the end. We made it to nationals, right? So that's who I am.
So why we're here. So the reason the Utah Valley Cybersecurity Club even exists is we're trying to do competitions. Competition gives us huge experience. It's not the only reason, obviously, but like he said, you've got people who have never done any of this stuff before. They've never even seen a Linux. You know what I mean? So they come in and they want to learn how to protect it. They want to learn how to play with it, attack, defense, whatever. These competitions give them a huge, huge advantage over everyone else at BYU because they're not able to do this kind of stuff. So, you know, things that we do, we go to every conference that's available. I'm sure you guys know St. Con. You know, that's a huge one that we try to get to. Black Hat, DEF Con. We've got B-Size, Red Sky, Open West is a huge one that we love to promote. So we try to go to all of those. We promote them. They help promote us by doing, you know, fun little activities as well, like capture the flag events and things like that. Creating environments is something that we love to do as a club. We love to take people who have never set up networks. You know, you might be really good. You might be the IT buddy that all your friends and family come to fix something, but you've never set up a network, or you've never set up a firewall, or even a switch or a router. You know, there are those people who they know Windows or Linux really well, but they've never done that kind of stuff. We give the opportunity for anyone to come in and help build those networks, create those environments, maintain them, play with them, obviously attack and defense.
So last thing we want to do is just form lasting relationship with club members. Like Chris was saying in the very beginning, we are a student-funded club and a student-founded club. Bash was a huge example of helping getting this club off the ground a year ago with his buddy Austin.
A couple years ago.
3 years ago. Apologies. But they were the few guys who got it up and running and just wanted to help people get better in the cybersecurity industry, but get better with computers in general. And that's what we want to return back to the community. Because how often do you know people who don't know anything about a computer, right? Like, you struggle explaining to them where to find an HDMI port. There's always one person you're going to have issues with that. But if you can just form relationships or form that connection with people and then learn how to explain things down to even to the most basics of natures, that's a skill that's not only going to be usable in your personal lives, but in your work life. And our whole goal of this club is to turn this into a career for everybody who wants to be participating.
Where we're going is a big thing with this cybersecurity club. So, like he said, we've only been around for 3 years. Year one, we didn't do really that many competitions. Year two, we went to regionals. We took second place. We did a lot of really intense things. We started going to all these different conferences, competing in CTFs, things like that. We're on year three now, and we went to nationals. The top 10 teams in the nation for blue team. That's something that's incredible when, you know, other schools in the area have had established teams for a long time and they can't even make it that far. So that's something that we want to do, is to keep promoting, hey, we're a ragtag group of people that can bring ourselves together and make things happen. So we look to cultivate professionals from day one.
So, and then we just want to learn in core concepts about real examples. So everybody in this room knows that IT is going to change almost on like a daily basis. We know we're not trying to market this to you. We're trying to market to people who still don't understand IT and in the importance of like protecting your information. So that's why we still go to all these events. That's why we talk to people and we network with people already in the community who can either train us or tell us what's going on so we can better prepare for it. We have a whole bunch of virtual machines and a lab set up to where we can modify the machines to fit our needs. And something we're working on is to get more funding so we can keep making more labs and bigger virtual machines and things like that. Yeah.
Do
Do you ever plan on open sourcing those?
That is not for. So, do we plan on open sourcing that? That's not for me to say, because I'm not in charge of the club. You gotta talk to Austin.
Because we would love to have as a community to play with some of the stuff you've built.
Honestly, we might, especially with. I would say we might. Like I said, you can't like quote me on this. The things we're doing with like Open West and trying to get more sponsors to help us out with our Open West sponsorship. More than likely, we'll probably make these more public or open source for people to come in. Things that we want to get more people outside who are already in the industry to come see what we're doing and get more involved in it, so we can get more in return, right?
So we actually have a few different environments. We have an internal environment that we use strictly for our CCDC competitions, our red versus blue competitions. That's strictly for us. We're not open sourcing any of that. That's a lot of proprietary stuff, and we're getting a lot of stuff directly from vendors right now. In the future, we hope to be able to open source a lot of this stuff. Like you said with Open West, everything that we're doing with Open West, the environments, we're still doing CCDC with them. It's all open to the public already. We're just using Proxmox and things like that. Some of the infrastructure, if you guys are looking to get your hands on some of that, we're more than happy to provide that. But that's through Open West, not through UVU cybersecurity. So. Another thing that we're pretty big on is we're trying to prepare individuals on how to enjoy solving solutions. Because we all know that one guy who's really good at solving things, but he's just like kind of bored and bothered and annoyed by it. But there are always those people out there who really, who's played Zelda? Come on. Yeah, right. I'm seeing all the hands. So, you play Zelda, you do one of those shrines or whatever, you instantly are figuring all this stuff out, and then as soon as it clicks, instant gratification. Because you found joy in solving the puzzles. You find joy in solving whatever's going on. That's the kind of mindset that we're trying to get for our club members. We want people to go into a real world environment, find things that are wrong with it, fix it, and then just be like, oh my gosh, that was so cool, let me go tell all my friends about it. And then they blow up Twitter, because that's what you do.
So, and then we want to create innovators and leaders in the community and nationally. So as much as like all school clubs are supposed to be fun and for enjoyment, we also want to be known as one of the best in the nations, right? Something we were super proud about was going to nationals, because out of the 10 schools that went to nationals, there was 280 schools that participated in the CCDC trying to go to nationals. So, like everybody else, I think this is a common theme for most people really high up in the IT industry, is you want to be known as the best at what you do, right? And that's something we're trying to put in a mindset from the very early stage at these competitions and in the club, is that not only do we want you to have fun, but we want you to be the best at this, and we want you to keep progressing so you can go out there and just, I don't want to say make that money, but just prove to everybody else you are the best, because that's the whole goal of cybersecurity.
Right. Of course. And then the last thing, we're trying to find employment from viewers like you. So thank you. But really, we're trying to create these professionals to go out into the real world and to get real good jobs. We went to nationals. We had one of our Linux guys who ended up getting a job with Raytheon. That's unheard of, you know? Just right out the gate, making good money, picked up by a big company. We had people getting picked up by the NSA, CIA, FBI, three-letter acronyms, you name it, whatever. We're having people get picked up. Our employment rate is going crazy high for this group, and that's what we want. We're creating professionals who are going to go into whatever they want to do in their niche market, whether it's, database administration or whatever. Doesn't matter where they go. They're going to be the best at it, and they're going to kill it. So if you want to contribute with jobs, at the end we have a Slack that we'd like you all to join. And there is a job form. You can post jobs in there. You can ask for people. And, we'd love to contribute to, again, we're trying to contribute to the society that has helped build us up.
So, where are we going? Like Chris said, one of our members who competed at nationals with us got a job with Raytheon leaving the competition. We have people who are offered internships with NSA, CIA, FBI, Facebook, Snapchat, even big actual corporations. We want to be your first choice in the hiring process. Like I said, our whole goal is to be the best at what we want to be doing. All our active members aren't just showing up to club to be part of the club. In total, we have hundreds of people who are members of our cybersecurity club, but you can really tell who's active and trying to participate by who shows up to our club meetings that we hold and who's trying to do these competitions that we hold. For an example, for this month of October, we had Hacktober, and it was just an entire capture the flag competition for the whole month. So you can see who was really trying to participate by how many scores people were getting and who's actually proving not only do they study this, but they actually know what they're studying.
We really want to be the winningest school. So, like I said, we go to a lot of competitions, but we don't want to be, last place. We want to be the first choice. We want to be the ones that are always winning, so that when people think of UVU, eventually, if you have kids or anything like that, you want them to go to UVU. That's the plan. So that's what we're trying to create, is a legacy. And we're trying to, we hope to be your first choice in every first, adventure. So we want people to think, hey, I want to think of UVU when it comes to sponsorships, or I want them to be a part of our, events, or go to any of our conferences or anything like that. We want to be the first ones that you think of, because, we give back to the community, and we love being a part of it.
So this is where you can go and get an invite if you want to join our Slack channel. Like I said, it's all really open, and we're active in it and almost daily. There's people constantly who are posting, whether there's questions they have about the cybersecurity community, or issues that they're having with their work environment, or issues they're having with VMs, or how to do something like how to navigate through Linux or things like that. It has from the most basic to the most advanced users within this community, and what makes it an awesome space if you have any questions. You can kind of locate us anywhere: Slack, YouTube, Twitter. We have our own Twitter. And we also have Discord for all those people who are new and into gaming.
Yep. So we're looking to bring anyone in. This is also where you can go to sign up for our club. So if you guys are, not students, not part of UVU, but you really want to see what we're doing or what we're up to, or even be a part of some of the things that we're doing, we have a place for anyone. We really are trying to, again, build up this community. We want everyone to be very tight-knit family. We understand that, cybersecurity is not a one-man show. Everything is, people try to be, but it's really about the team. Everyone works together to have that common objective to win, or to keep the bad guys out, or to whatever. You all are working together, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help with everyone in the community, just being tight-knit.
I think that's what we all love about the community. I think just in cybersecurity in general, it doesn't matter if you work for a company A or company B. You know people from both companies, and you're going to talk to them about cybersecurity issues that are happening now. You're not going to hold within your information if it's not going to benefit somebody else. You want everybody to be safe in this dirty, dirty internet world we now live in. And so that's what we're trying to promote back, is that not only are we wanting to get more information and become better in what we want to do for our future endeavors, but we want to give back as much as we can.
Yep. Any questions that you guys have? Comments, concerns, jokes? I'll take any.
I really like dirty, dirty internet. I feel like I live in the dirty, dirty internet.
Yes, I think we all have to live in the dirty, dirty internet. No, I agree with you. So, yeah.
Yeah. So when you do CTFs, or even Coder, when you're doing the blue team stuff, and then hackers come to you.
Yeah.
What is the repeat issue that you've seen that you're still trying to fix?
So,
I think the basic one is basic credentials.
yeah.
There's always that one account or few accounts that somebody seems to always miss, or they don't use good enough passwords when they're making their events. That's our favorite thing to do at these Capture the Hill events, is just find out who sucks at making passwords.
Yeah.
Hack the leaderboard?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for blue team, there's a lot of different things for it. Firewalls is a huge thing. People don't lock down firewalls as good as they should, or they're just not trained enough. And that's one of the reasons why we're trying to, again, promote this kind of events, so that we can train people on how to do firewalls, good static routing, manage switches and routers, to really understand locking all of that down so that nobody can come in that way. Because network security is a little bit more important, I think, than the system administration. Because if they can't even get to the box, they can't hack the box. So that's where I think it's a little bit more important for people to focus on. But that's an issue we run into.
Looking over a Windows firewall, a super basic thing that anybody can really set up if they took the time. Constantly people forget about that. But yeah.
So how much would you say is like operational versus something like doing something high level like fault injection monitoring? Or
You dealt with that.
Fault injections. Yeah. I mean,
So a big thing about this is fault injection monitoring sucks. It destroyed one of our machines at one competition. So that's why it just sort of depends on who you want doing what, to be completely honest. Like, last year was my very, very first year competing, and although I was kind of like how Chris said, like, I was the IT guy my friends came to, I didn't know jack about setting up, like, firewalls or routes. Like, I was still very new still setting up static IPs, right? So,
yeah, I mean, we run into a lot of issues where with this competition or with these competitions that we go to, you have people who have like you said, literally never touched any of this stuff before. But you set very specific roles. So you have usually 2 people that are running Linux, 2 people running Windows, 2 people doing network, and then 2 people doing injects or kind of team management. And you'll have a lot of issues with people just not knowing their stuff yet. And so
to answer your question, there are people within the community and within these competitions who know how to handle your injectors, but sometimes there's not. Yeah. And so that's why part of it we go to learn is to learn how to finally manage these situations. Because on our team, like, we have people from all level, ranging from freshmen all the way up to seniors or working on their master's program, right? So it all depends on just your team coordination on who you have in signing what. Because I remember when we had the faulty injector, the guy who was managing the computer at the time had no idea how to handle it. And so we just turned the computer off because we weren't sure what to do.
Yeah. So
perfectly valid defense.
right. Can't hack it if it's not on the system or alive, basically. So I don't know.
Did you ever do the scene where you put 4 cans on one keyboard?
No. We did. Okay. So when we were at regionals, though, we did decide that we wanted to be a little bit more intimidating. We had a school next to us that was from Colorado, and we were like, you know what? We just want to intimidate them. So we turned up the music as loud as we could, and we looked up 10 hours of mechanical keyboard clicking. And so we started playing that. And so, like, all they heard was just, like, straight, like...
Not only the best part about that is that we had, like, heavy screamo music, too, playing on top of that.
Yeah.
So we had that music just slightly lower so you can still hear the clicking, but, like, we meant business.
Yeah. So... we mess with people still. I mean, we're all IT professionals. You have to mean. Right. There's tons of different ways. So things like that, we mess around with people too. Yeah. That's right. Red team tactics.
we consider purple.
What's up?
So I was going to say, what does the mentorship look like? Like, how do you help someone go from 0 to hero?
I wouldn't say hero. I mean, I'm not quite there yet. No, I'm just kidding.
The way we did it is the best we can, is setting up these environments where we can practice and show people what to do.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people from our master's program who come to the event who can't compete in the competitions due to work and school schedule, but can show us everything they know. Mm-hmm. And so the best time is just putting the time in practice. So we do bi-weekly team meetups to where we come and learn different skills for that. But as it gets closer to competition, we start meeting over the weekends and after school, or Skyping and remoting into sessions. You name it, we try it, just so we can learn more. We actually have a bunch of people who are already in the field. My uncle does the cybersecurity for the Jordan Landing School District. And although that's not as big as like corporations or whatnot, he still does know a lot.
He's got more endpoints.
Yeah, a ton more endpoints.
Than most corporations.
Yeah.
That's a hard...
And they're by really stupid people who have to be on those endpoints.
Right.
Like, it's not like all your endpoints are programmers. A smaller budget.
Yeah, their budgets are, that's a lot more, yeah, right.
So something we did is me and my guy who's on our firewall, we went and we job chatted him for 2 days and just asked him questions and picked his mind apart while we learned what we can do and just repeated that in our environments. So the biggest thing to do is just get to know people who are into industry. Our hackers at the competition, like for when we went to Colorado, we stay in touch with.
Yeah.
And we ask them about new exploits that are coming out and how we can protect against them because they're messing with those exploits every day.
Yeah. On top of that, like I said, we go to some of those conferences, so like Black Hat, DEF CON, things like that. So we're meeting, professionals who are in the field currently, and we keep in touch with them. A cool thing about the UVU Cybersecurity Club is that we're building this network of just common knowledge that these professionals are just kind of all ducking it into one area, and we're all just there ready to absorb as much as we can. So there's a wealth of knowledge because we've got all these different events that we go to and get, a lot of people to help us with. The environments is a huge thing. We have that monthly thing that we do now with Open West, where most of these people do not have that kind of hardware at their own house. I mean, who has 20 servers sitting at home? Not most people, so.
Who has that FireEye machine monitoring the network 24/7?
Yeah, so it's like things like that. So Open West has really helped us with environments that are a little bit out of our scale that we can, practice with and play with and get an idea of what we can do and what we can't do. And then we have our internal where we can practice red versus blue, so we really understand, and we can teach these people, hey, this is why you change credentials very first thing. This is why you focus on firewalls and static routing and just things like that, things that they've never even thought of before. And then also teach them how to break it so that they can learn new ways to protect it as well.
So I guess to answer your question on how to make something go from 0 to hero, it just depends on who wants to put in the time and who has the right connections. Something we learned, we've only been a club for 3 years, and BYU's had their club for a lot more. A lot of BYU's members get paid to be on the team if they can prove they're worth it. And everybody who was on the club last year who went to nationals, we were all doing it in our spare time when we had the time to go to the meetings.
Yeah.
And not only did we prove that we were already putting in more time than BYU, we proved that we were using our time wisely and actually learning from the people who already do it in the industry. BYU didn't even break top 3 when we went to our regional competition.
And so everyone knows, so everyone knows, UVU does not hate BYU. We just want to prove that for a group, like you said, we've only been around for 3 years. We're trying to show that, hey, you guys could step up your game. That's really all it is. So, yes.
When do you meet?
That's a good question.
So
it changes. So every semester we have to usually reevaluate the room that we're getting into. A lot of this goes through Slack, obviously. So if you join the Slack, you're going to be most up to date. But currently what we're doing is every other Tuesday at 7 o'clock. So
we have our own lab at UVU that we meet up. So if you live in Happy Valley or live near Orem or willing to make the commute, the club's open to anybody who wants to come and join.
yeah.
Every Saturday, at least once a month, we do our Open West competitions.
Mm-hmm. And that's
our next
this Saturday.
event is this Saturday at 12. Again, we posted all the direction and information in Slack.
And Discord.
And you don't have to be a member of the club to go to these. It's open up to everyone. We have people who come all the way from Utah State and drive all the way out to come participate in these.
Yes.
Are there events that you do have to be a student in?
Yes. So that national event that we talk about, the CCDC one, you have to be a full-time student to go to that.
So like the top.
Yes. Our most important ones, the ones where we make probably the most money to put back into the club, those are the ones where you have to be a full-time student to, funded by the students, given back to the students kind of a thing. So
the Idaho competition, we have one coming up in November. Unfortunately, the teams are already set on who's representing UVU, but you don't have to be an active UVU student to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like if
You don't have to be a full-time student.
full-time student
You
to
still
go.
have to be a student.
yes.
Okay. You don't have
But-
to be.
We have ones that you don't have to be a student. Yes.
How much hacker shenanigans is allowed?
As much as possible. So
By
again,
the blue team, we can't. So as the blue team, we can't hack into the red team. Unfortunately, we can't do that.
we'll put it this way. Well, we can at Open West. So we'll put
Open
it.
West
Yeah.
isn't the. Yeah.
We'll put it this way. As much as you want to get away with, you're allowed to, because we want to get better as well. That's the whole thing. You can throw as much at us as we can take, and we'll just keep going for it.
As long as you're willing to tell us how to stop you next time.
Or no.
Any more questions?
Nobody? Bueller? Go
Yeah.
ahead. Is beer a thing?
So beer is a thing unless you're underage. You know who you are.
You know who you are. That's right.
But
So wet club, dry campus, or
no drinking on camp. Can you drink on campus? I don't think. No.
Yeah, no.
well,
You can't.
Well, at Open West, it's not. It's, and we're in private doors. No.
As long as you're paying for their bartender. That's really how I know.
Yeah, no drinking on the campus. So just get plastered before you come. So
I think we're supposed to promote that as a club.
Have your shenanigans already.
oh
This is
Shoot,
just social engineering, right? Any more questions?
actually, speaking of social engineering,
Yeah, what's
you
up?
have a section for that.
we do actually. So we do have presenters that come as well and do presentations. We recently had one on pen testing. He was a pen tester from BYU, actually. Funny enough. So he came and did a presentation on how to social engineer and things like that. We also do lock picking. We do RFID hacking. Anything we can get our hands on. Anything that anyone's interested in, we will find an expert in the community and we will have a presentation or documentation to learn it
We should start doing pen testing competitions.
later.
Though, as far as when you are
Mhm.
the blue team, and for example, in this hotel scenario,
Yes.
do you have a phone number?
Yes, we have a
Yes.
phone number. We have CEOs we have to report to. We have to say how much money we're spending, how much money we need.
Yeah.
We have to give reports on company policies. We have to give reports on what's going down in the business. Like, they treat it as an actual business.
He's reports. So the technical side, there's VoIP.
So, is Red Team allowed to call your CEO?
Yeah,
Are they
no.
They can't call our CEO, but they can hack
call-
our VoIP systems.
Yeah, they can call you and hack your voice systems.
Okay.
So they do VoIP. They do. They attack you directly through workstation servers, firewalls, routers, switches,
They
anything. they can
pivot
get
from
their
your
hands on.
printer.
Yeah, they'll pivot from your printer.
Okay, but so no calling the kids though.
No,
Like,
no,
I need to get in contact with your daddy.
no, no.
I mean, you could. I knew at Nationals, one team was getting so annoyed because their VoIP system was hacked. They just unplugged their phone so Red Team would stop calling them.
Yeah,
And so it sucks because there's times where your boss calls you or business calls you and needs access to certain information. And if you don't answer those phone calls, you lose points. And so it's a risk reward type of deal, right? Like, yay, Red Team's not stopping you, but how many phone calls are you missing that actually need you?
so yeah, it's a fun scenario. It's kind of wild. It definitely prepares you for the real world because if you have all this overwhelming stress and anxiety and hecticness that's going on, and then you go back to your job and you're like, oh my gosh, there's nothing going on. This is so boring. And then you really fortify and it gets even more boring. So, any questions? We good? We will hang around to take questions after this if you guys have any, and hope you all have a good day.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.